Good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here. Welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am grateful to be here, and I am glad to be here. Several weeks ago, I shared a story of a man that sat next to me on an airplane. Do you recall? This is the one that had retired from dentistry, went on to be a professor, pursued a lifelong desire to become a great photographer, and became a great photographer, having books published and Fortune 500 companies putting them in their lobbies, and then took up Spanish, 3 years of Spanish, could speak it fluently, went to Cuba, did all kinds of photography there, and on and on. And I stopped him and I said, "You've done all of this just since you retired? How old are you?" And he said, 85. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. And so that stuck with me. It's just the beginning. And I've said it over and over again. Well, last week, I had another beginning. Got on an airplane, Southwest Airlines, and you know how you get on and you choose your seat? Well, I'd chosen an aisle. Somebody else had chosen a window. That left an open seat. You're kind of hoping maybe nobody will get there. You can spread out. But here comes this lady down in a full evening gown. I mean, like my kids used to dress for princesses, or my grandkids do today. Always wanted to be in a princess gown. Well, she was in a princess gown. Beautiful evening dress. Lots of lace, way spread out. So she squirmed in there between us, gathered everything together, and we sat down and got talking. Of course we did. And as we talked, she started telling me a little bit about her background. And her background is started at age 10 when she was horribly abused by her father. And then that continued for a number of years until she was able to break the pattern, get out of the house, run away, basically, and found herself on the streets. Her self-esteem, she said, was at the lowest level it could ever be at. There's a quote that says, "We should be taught not to wait for inspiration to start a thing. Action always generates inspiration. Inspiration seldom generates action." And I thought about that quote as she started talking about her story. I mean, where do you go when your self-esteem is so low? Where do you go? Well, she finally broke out of that. She said, I had to get out of that. So she got in motion towards other things. And she eventually, believe it or not, got accepted to one of the best chiropractic schools in the nation because she had had an experience with a chiropractor that she believed saved her life. And so she got into motion. And she graduated from there top of class. She now has a practice in Los Angeles where a lot of movie stars and other celebrities go to her to build up their self-esteem. And her self-esteem is on the peak. She doesn't, look at her. She walked on a princess dress, and I got talking to her about that, and I said, what's the story here? And she says, well, I subscribe to a service. I pay so much a month, and I can order as many dresses as I want. I wear them. They send them off. They clean them, take care of them, and if I want another one, I get another one. My patients are always wondering, what am I going to wear next? So present to herself. And as we were sitting there, I don't know if you know Southwest Airlines, they have these napkins that say on them, where do you want to go? So she said, let's play this. And she put it right down between us. She goes, where do you want to go? And I was caught off guard. I'm the one that usually asks that question. Where do you want to go? She says, let's play this. Do you want to go first or should I go first? So we went back and forth on where we want to go. And as we talked about it, it was not as much where do we want to go as it ended up being more where do we want to be? What do we want to be? How do we want to be? And again, she was so centered about being herself, not worrying about what other people think. And I kind of want to be like that. But as we went through and back and forth, then the other side of the napkin says, well, what are you going to do when you get there? And so we talked about that. And so here is this lady at 47 years old now, she's a doctor, has a very successful practice. And she overcame all of that. And she then said to me, she goes, can I give you an aspiration? Can I sing you an aspiration? I was like, well, yeah, sure. So she put her hand up on my shoulder, got up by my ear, and she sang this most beautiful aspiration. And I was so fortunate because after we got off, we went our separate ways. And then I came back and I saw her and we got talking as we were walking to the taxi. And she said, thank you so much. I learned so much. I said, hey, I got an affirmation song from you. And she goes, do you remember it? And I go, no. I said, would you sing it again? And she said, yes. And so I recorded it. So I do have it recorded and I can remember it all the time. So that Southwest moment, I will remember. You know, death is not the greatest loss in life. The greatest loss is what dies inside of us while we live. And for her, I saw somebody that has chosen to live. And she got in motion, and she now has been inspired to inspire others. And I was inspired by this trip. So my thought for the week is onward, upward, and outward motion. Have a meaningful week. I hope you get to sit next to a fairy princess sometime on your flight. Have a meaningful week. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.